In this video, I'm going to share with you why I believe that Kadena, this coin, could 40x in this next crypto bull run. If you're looking for this type of content to help you take advantage of the next bull run that we're currently in, then make sure you subscribe to the channel for breakdown videos just like this. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what chart pattern I see, which leads me to believe that we could be seeing a nice pump for Kadena. And I'm going to share with you where I think price could go in this bull cycle. So let's jump in. Not to waste any time, the chart pattern that I see for Kadena right now is very clear. It's a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. Before I break it down on the chart itself, let me show you what a textbook example of the Wyckoff accumulation pattern is. So this would be where we have price that's coming down, making a move down into what's called a selling climax. Then it creates what the PS stands for is preliminary support. That's where we start to kind of round out a bottom or an area of support for whatever we're looking at, whatever the chart we're looking at. Then we have what's called an automatic response. That's just when that selling pressure eases off and you have some buyers stepping back in. This is going to create kind of that top level of resistance for this trading range that we'll see for the rest of the pattern. Then we will move back down in what's called a secondary test. We will typically either come right to that preliminary support level or sometimes even break below it, taking out some of the orders and liquidity that were made of people who bought in right here. People who thought this was a bottom, they maybe had some stop losses and this price will come down and grab that liquidity. Then it will also take price back up to that trading range where we had the automatic response, then back down again for another test, but this time it's called the spring. And this usually takes out the liquidity that was the stop loss orders that were made here when people thought these two were the bottom. And once we take those out, then we see price move up where we have basically the last point before we start to mark up. So let me show you kind of what that looks like in the larger grand scheme of the entire Wyckoff cycle. So again, the accumulation phase, where we have price that comes down and we have this trading range of resistance and support, and then we get a spring, which then starts the mark up phase. And that's where we see lots of momentum, lots of price moving to the upside. And then that will go into the distribution phase of Wyckoff, which once we get towards the top of the cycle, we'll most likely start to see these distribution patterns come into play. And then it also goes back down into the markdown phase. Let me show you where this is happening on Kadena, because this is really important to see. And obviously, when it's a textbook example on the actual chart in real life, IRL, it's not always going to look exactly like that. But once you understand what the chart pattern looks like, then your eyes can start to recognize when you see it play out on an actual chart. So I would say that this point right here is the selling climax, just like we see it right here. This section right here, the selling climax and that preliminary support, that's also where we create this first boundary. And a lot of times you'll have this little bump right here, this little kind of pullback before we go into the selling climax. Then that created the automatic response, which creates this top level of the trading range, this resistance here. Then we have price coming back down. And look, we have that wick right there that took out these lows over here. That is that secondary test. Then we have price come back up to that trading range, which is exactly right here. So these highs, we have two highs right here within this trading range. Then we have price coming back down again for a third time, both taking out these lows of the previous two. So again, this is looking very textbook. We got the spring that is building up all of that momentum, again, taking out the lows and that liquidity of these prior two lows, the preliminary support, and the secondary test. So now we are at the point in the cycle where we are in the spring. And I even had drawn this little arrow a few weeks ago to suggest that we would start to see price go in a different direction. This was a very bullish period of time. We had some positive news in the macro, and I believe that this could be a great turnaround point for crypto and a lot of the other markets. And so I believe that this could be the spring before we see price start to move higher. And if we zoom in, we could see that we have 4 green candles in a row already. So this is looking like it could be the start of that spring where we start to see price go and pull back and create a series of higher highs and higher lows, going up to that level of resistance, maybe having a little bit of a consolidation before it really takes off to the upside. So now what my expectation is for the coming weeks and months is that price would continue up to this upper resistance level and maybe have some type of consolidation before it takes off again. So what I would say is I am very bullish right now. This is a very potent place, especially down here, a potent place to have gotten in on Kadena. Another thing that I'll mention in the midst of this Wyckoff accumulation pattern is the Fibonacci retracement level that we're in. And I actually have that already drawn on the chart. And the Fibonacci retracement tool, just going from the bottom of this low to the top and measuring these different levels, the retracement, and one of the most potent levels in crypto for these pullbacks, again, looking at the logarithmic scale, is the 0.786 level. And you can see price magically and magnetically hit that almost exactly with these 2 candles right here, right before it started moving upwards. Now, anytime that you see price come to one of these key levels, it doesn't automatically mean it's going to turn around and go in the positive direction. It's just something to take note of. And it oftentimes does coincide with other patterns. And if you could put those 2 together or multiple things together, it helps you form a better overall analysis of where price could go or where price could be moving to. And so at the same point where it looks like we have a spring is also the same point where we have a key Fibonacci retracement level. One other thing outside of the Wyckoff is the bullish divergence. And bullish divergence appears when we have a series of lower lows on price and a series of higher lows on the RSI. So we have this low here, and then we have this low here. This is lower than that one. And we have these lows on the RSI where this is a low here, but this is a higher low. This is indicating that there is a shift in momentum from the downside to the upside. It's diverging. So this is a very bullish sign. It doesn't automatically mean that price is just going to completely reverse. But again, it does indicate that the momentum to the downside is slowing and it's starting to go towards the upside. This is, again, important when understanding what other patterns you have on the chart and your Fibonacci levels, your support and resistance levels. All of that put together can help you to make a better buying decision, or at least help you to understand what the probabilities are for where price could go. So with that, me personally, I am very bullish right now on Kadena. And when you understand what comes next in the Wyckoff phase, we have the markup, which would be next. So once this spring is complete and we go above kind of that upper trading range, then the markup is next. And when you consider what else is on the charts, I think that we could easily go to the all-time high for Kadena. We could obviously go a lot higher. There's also no guarantee that we get back to the all-time highs that we had kind of back here in 2021 with the cycle high. But that's kind of my base case. And if we were to go there from where we are currently, that would be over a 40x. A 40x from where we are right now, which is around 66 cents per coin. we could easily go up to 27 or somewhere like that for Kadena. And it is possible. You might think that that's a lot, but it also did that all the way back here. I mean, from the low of January 2021 all the way up to the all-time highs, it went over 230x, over 230x. And in this, say, bull run, in this cycle, it would only be 87x if we were to do from the very low to the all-time high. So it is possible. It is totally possible. So that's kind of my base case. There are some very, very bullish and optimistic price targets. If you want to consider, say, the Fibonacci extension tool, you'll go from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 1, go down to the start of this next wave. And I would measure, at least for the 1 level, that would basically just mean that this wave here is measured as wave 1. So it would at least be the length of that. And so if we were to take that from where we are right now, that would take us up to about 76. That would be over almost 120x, which again is totally possible. A little bit more optimistic. My base case is that we get to at least the all-time highs in this next bull run. Again, when you put together all of the different things, the bullish divergence, the Wyckoff, the Fibonacci retracement, all of that put together helps me to make a more informed decision. But of course, this is not financial advice. This is not me telling you to do exactly what I'm doing. I'm just showing you what I am doing or how I'm analyzing this. But make sure you do your own research, your own analysis. But I'm very bullish on this. I've got some buys set up for Kadena in the very near future, and I'm going to be dollar cost averaging in, especially up until this level of resistance. But let me know in the comment section what you think about Kadena. What do you think? Are you buying in? Do you think this is about to go down further? Do you think this has no chance of going to all-time highs? Do you think it's going to go even crazier? Somewhere, where do you think it's going to go? Let me down in the comments section. Would love to hear your thoughts. If you found this video helpful, I appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.